just saw tear inner to pieces.
Right, going straight with it, which is interesting to me. I thought maybe he'd try and match it up against that Shaman, so maybe they're a lot happier with this. But like you say, it did already tear inner to pieces, as you put it. But I think that when you're ready for this deck, it's a lot easier to play against.
Yeah, maybe SilverName watched over the match, and now he knows the surprises that are coming. Since 6-0, I've got to play 3 whole games of it, so he's probably got a variety of information from his hands and his plays. How do you feel Cthulhu Warrior is going to do against this? It has all the nice removal of Control Warrior, but it also packs those minions as well, which can fight on board.
I think if he's careful, he's probably favoured. It's a really, really hard deck to play against because you've constantly got to be in mind what secrets you've checked for and so on. But the secrets keep coming. So if you're not careful, you'll have checked for, say, Snipe. And then the next turn, your opponent will play a secret, play his turn. And if you're not 100% awake, you'll play into the Snipe just by tiredness or autopilot or however you want to word that. And these Shield Bearers are game-changing because this Hunter deck does only have a limited amount of damage.
Yeah, Shield Bearer is going to be a huge card in this matchup. He still needs another Cthulhu card to activate it. But if he can get just one Shield Bearer is pretty annoying for this Hunter to deal with. But when you brand Shield Bearer, it's just going to snowball that life out of control.
Yeah, and getting those Cthulhu minions early means that the Shield Bearer is going to be active. Not only that, but this Cthulhu's Chosen challenges this board really nicely right now. He'll be a bit worried that it doesn't give him an armor up opportunity. But other than that, he'll probably end up playing it, I should think.
I mean, to be fair, it activates Shield Bearer for the future. If you hit a secret like Snipe, it soaks up a Divine Shield. You do get it cleared by the weapon, which is a little unfortunate. But at least Snipe is out of your mind then, it's gone. It hit a Divine Shield. It didn't just take out a Ravaging Ghoul whole. If it's not a Snipe, like you said, you have this 4/2 minion, which is durable because of its Divine Shield, and it's going to be able to challenge the board, or at least make GreenSheep use multiple resources to deal with it efficiently. But it looks like SilverName's decided that, it's not the right call right now to go for this Cthulhu's Chosen. Let's clear the board up first, and let's see if we can get the stick.
Yeah, and it is all tidied up, and interesting, right? Really interesting that he wants to go this route, but it makes a lot of sense, and this next turn now is quite difficult because of that, though.
I guess on the flip side, I mean, what else are you going to use Shield Slam on in this deck? Most of its cards are going to be stuff like the Cloaked Huntress. Brand and Cloaked Huntress is probably where it tops at health, at least. Whereas, you're not going to ever Shield Slam Leroy, really. That's its win condition. So it's just a lot of kind of annoying, small minions you're going to have to deal with. So I think it's fine, now that I think about it.
Yeah, Ghoul is really, really good against secrets, by the way. The only one that kills it, really, is the Snipe. Freezing is actually okay, because you don't mind using it twice. It plays around Cat Trick whilst killing things. It's a very, very key card in this matchup.
These guys might not be running tonight. We haven't seen one yet. But I guess it's something that's always on players' mind, just because it's part of their arsenal. And we're going to see Weapon go into the Big Bad Wolf here. Chosen coming down, no attack coming out, so just going to armor up. So very similar style of play to Inner. Just allowing minions to come down, fight them off, and pick and choose what you want to bounce back to your hand. Right,
and this Shield Bearer is looking like it's going to carry very, very hard here.
The thing is, if he Shield Bearers, and he aims the health, he doesn't attack, then he can just put the Shield Bearer into the freezing trap he's expecting, and then just Shield Bearer again on 9.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you get the extra 4 armor if you feel you've got that time there. And 4 armor is a lot in this matchup, so I like that line that you've just come up with there.
It just makes... I mean, the thing with cards like Shield Bearer against freezing trap, you have to be so careful about it. You usually have to answer them. That's what usually it comes down to, because you can't give them additional effects like that. And Ravaging Ghoul ripped off the tops. Pretty nice there, but it doesn't really curve out that well. I guess he gets the armor up. There's also the brawl option. What do you think, dude?
I think that, I'm all for Ravaging Ghoul here, I think, and just saving the Brawl for emergencies, but there aren't going to be many emergencies.
This might just be the best opportunity to clear out these dogs. I guess it sucks if one stays around, though. You don't have an answer to it. So it looks like just Ghoul, armor up. He does kind of line up his board to Explosive Trap. I guess that's the one sad thing about it.
Right. I mean, I think this game is all but over, if I'm honest. I don't think that there's any real way back for the Hunter. When it's run out of steam and the Warriors are getting 10 armor at will, and he's doing what you said a moment ago, he's waiting until turn 9, so he gets to sneak in those extra 2 armor ups for the extra 4 armor, because he's bought that time. And I just think that unless there's a surprise Call of the Wild in here, which I'm almost certain there won't be, that this is just over.
Yeah, I can't see him coming back because this board is huge for Sun. Although its effect isn't a massive problem, I guess, unless it hits Cthulhu. He's probably gonna want to have to deal. I don't know if he can deal with it at this point. I don't think he has time. I think you just have to go face.
Yeah, I've seen GreenSheep in situations like this with like Secret Paladin and stuff like that over the years, and he'll think for a while, and then almost every time he'll go face with everything. I guess you have to calculate, does killing the 3/2 buy you an extra turn? Yeah, you're going to see how much damage you're going to take. Maybe you can turn the clock from a 2-turn clock into a 3-turn clock, and getting that extra turn, you'll get the 2 damage back by having extra hero power.
I guess he could, if he really wants to, Hunter's Mark Forsen, and then just use the Argent Squire to keep the Divine Shield, because you've seen double Ravaging Ghoul now, so you're not too afraid of that. Alternatively, I mean, that Hunter's Mark might be what GreenSheep needs to deal with the twins, or at least one of the twins.
Right, so he used the Hunter's Mark, but doesn't actually kill the Thaurissan.
So he wants Explosive Trap to do it, and we just see Freeze and Trap bounce up a Ravaging Ghoul. That didn't even cross my mind, so he does get that additional Ravaging Ghoul as well. I guess it does cost him his Forsen, but he shouldn't be too bothered. He gets to clear the board, gets the armor up as well. How much damage realistically could GreenSheep do next turn with 10 mana? I mean, Leroy would be 6. Quick Shot Hero Power, 11.
So that would be
with
11.
the weapon. So yeah, he would be dead, so he does need to be very careful.
Yeah, so he's just going to not mess around here. He's going to get that 10 while he can. Forfeiting the 2, but it should be fine. Like you say, you calculate that there is way that he could lose. There's no need to lose this. Be a little tiny bit inefficient now you're in front.
So now we just have a cat trick remaining, I believe, as far as secrets go. GreenSheep is just in a spot now where he just has to close his eyes. He needs to get that piece of cardboard that Life cooked up recently. Have the face as the only thing and just keep going there. He's not going to have many opportunities to trade efficiently, especially if SilverName picks up any more armor generation.
Yeah, the incident you're talking about there, for those who didn't see it, Life Coach took a piece of cardboard and covered up everything but the opponent's face, basically. And so he couldn't see what minions he was up against, and he just played Shaman, and he just went face every single turn for hours, right? How did he end up doing in the end? Do you know how he did? I think he did okay.
I don't know. I mean, there's only so much patience I have for that, I suppose. It's pretty fun, I guess, but
yeah.
The novelty did wear off pretty quickly for me. But it's just him having a laugh, I guess.
Yeah.
Just being pretty cheeky there. Tracking could find Call of the Wild if it exists. We don't know. We haven't seen it yet. It's looking pretty bleak for GreenSheep, though.
Yeah, I'm almost certain it doesn't, but again, as we are not got the full information and we're looking for ways that GreenSheep can get back into this, Call of the Wild is the card that always springs to mind. But we've seen no high mains. I think if you play Call of the Wild, you probably do. But then it's Zigzone GreenSheep. It wouldn't put them past it just to play one Call of the Wild for this sort of situation or something really odd like that, knowing these guys. But yeah, it makes no sense to have a deck that finishes at 5 then goes to 9, but we'll see. We've seen strange things come out of aggro players before.
There's the snipe, so he is packing snipe in his list. Not really going to be enough, I don't believe, though.
Interesting.
That should be a nail in the coffin, right? I mean, this is tough. Like, shield block, with armor up, so he's negating the hero power with his armor up already. He can now shield block as well to gain an additional 5 armor, and we actually see SilverName feeling pretty comfortable at the 17 health. There isn't a lot of combinations that GreenSheep can win with. I've really worked out the kind of Leroy quick shot hero power with the weapon as being pretty much where he tops at. So shield block's not really needed here.
No, thanks for that. And it isn't. It's just a case of exactly where you want to win. One thing when you're playing this matchup is that you're constantly looking, how do I lose from the Warriors side? Because you know you've won. You know you're going to win, but there are a few pitfalls to fall into. So he'll be just making sure here that he doesn't burn cards. Yeah, like you say, there's no need to shield block, so don't do it. But now you can, so you will, most likely.
You could double shield blocks to get the win condition of GreenSheep conceding. It doesn't always work, it's a 50-50. Nope, he's just going to armor up and negating that hero power. I guess he will need a shield block soon, because he can work out how much damage GreenSheep gets per card. Like, kind of best case scenario.
Yes.
The more cards he has in hand, the more his damage reach can go. Right now, he doesn't have any. But SilverName doesn't know that. But SilverName's in a really comfortable position. I think we might see a shield block next turn, just to kind of peek his armor up a little bit further, so he doesn't get hit by any of those kind of quick shots or kill commands or whatever he's got saving up in his hand.
It also gets him one card closer to that Justicar. He's not in danger of going to fatigue and losing in fatigue, so I think he can afford to shield block to try and get to Justicar. And this is SilverName's putting on a bit of a lesson here in how to play this deck. You just don't need to do anything. Most of the time, you force the issue by people will be thinking, well, why doesn't he sort of trigger these secrets, go in, hit 11 or 14? You don't want. Why bother? Why give them that 0.01% chance that something goes wrong? Just take your time. The hunter's not putting any pressure on you. That's their job. They're not going to kill you. Just make sure you stay out of range and don't give them the extra 2 damage. Don't give them the extra bow charge.
Yeah, bow charges are what carry their damage in this match, in this deck by the looks of it. I mean, you want your secrets to get procced, you want your Eagle Horn Bow to be constantly doing something. When you stop proccing secrets, the Eagle Horn Bow doesn't do anything, it just sits there, looking pretty.
Yeah, and this is why there's a standoff right now. I think SilverName's just... Yeah, if he attacks, it gives the hunter 3 more damage.
He will just probably wait until maybe you brand Shield Bearer, and then just brand Shield Bearer, and then snowball his armor up to a point where it doesn't matter anymore what the hunter has in hand.
Hilarious. I'm really enjoying this little standoff that's going on here. Pretty large Cthulhu as well. Yeah, just carry on as you were. Not going to give you any cats. I'm not going to give you anything at all. Just carry on.
Oh, that's another thing to consider, actually. He does have the cat trick down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why he's not shield blocking. That completely slipped my mind. We can't see the secrets because of the hand.
But I was saying you have to concentrate when you're playing the game. When you can't see the secrets as a caster, you've got to keep it. But you can see there's a second one there now, though. That little on the left-hand side, you can just see. So, again, just getting that extra bow charge from the snipe there. That's a little bit more damage that he's got in. And SilverName does have to be careful here that he doesn't, by not triggering the cat trick, that he doesn't actually just give too much time to GreenSheep.
So cat trick's coming down, just an explosive remaining. So now he gets a test for freezing, I guess, with the 3/1 Ravaging Ghoul.
He may even just, he may do this and just revenge. He may be considering revenging away his own board just to lock in this game. Probably won't. Probably doesn't need to, but it does save him. It's all about how much damage he doesn't take, not how much he delivers. He'll deliver plenty at the end with Cthulhu, with whatever he needs. May just be that he's thinking about revenging here, but he may just play the other shield block as well.
I mean, he could brawl. He could prop the last secret if he really wants to, but then again, as we were saying, does he even need to? It's the board that's the problem, not the secrets. We're gonna see explosive go down.
And this is going to be hilarious. He's going to clear up and steal the cat, and that's probably the game. He's on 22 health. He's got the Justicar now that he needs, and that's really, really nice work there. Slamming his own Sylvanas to steal the board, and GreenSheep, who doesn't concede his aggro decks, I've seen him pull these around, more than once, is surely on the edge of losing this now. When he sees a Justicar, that should be a concession.
Yeah, Justicar should just steal this game up easily for SilverName. I mean, we know he won a long time ago, but GreenSheep's not going to give up hope. He's going to want to take this match as long as possible, try and see as much as possible from SilverName as well, as much information as he can to use in the next match.
I don't think either player had substantial advantage in that first game, to be fair. So I think it's it's the sort of regame that isn't a problem as well.
Yeah, it was kind of it was very back and forth. It wasn't really going anywhere. It wasn't really swinging in any player's favor. And we do see the regame now, but the only problem is GreenSheep's current hand has nothing going on, whereas that just gives SilverName the time he needs to build up his hand size, but also develop onto the board.
Yeah, the Shaman doesn't mind hero powering once or twice, but it does like to have at least a little bit of backup for it. I guess that at least nothing's going to take his board down. He will be able to lightning bolt away any minions that come up. But yeah, this hand has, your phrase, has nothing going on.
Yep, boring hand confirmed.
Boring hand.
SilverName could just play a Ravaging Ghoul if he wants, but he's just going for the shield block. I like SilverName just like touching the Ancient Shieldbearer card, and then he was flicking back between the shield block as well. So it's almost like he's saying, I could play this card, but I think I'm going to play this card instead. And Ancient Shieldbearer is just like not going to be played forever at this point.
Yeah, and there's no hurry to play that card either. Again, the Shaman deck does like to put a bit of pressure on to sort of make its Bloodlust more menacing. But on the other side of that, the game goes longer than that. So even though that's all that sub-game that is going on, getting the armor from the Shieldbearer and the pressure from the Shaman are both sort of side shows to it all, I think.
So what about GreenSheep now? He does have things going on now. He could Barrel Spirit, but it overloads him for next turn, so that means he can't Drake. He could coin Drake now. I think that's an option, but he doesn't clear out the 4-2. Probably a little bit more important. So Portal. Oh, so I guess he wanted spell power there for that Portal.
Yeah, and he didn't hit it, so you have to bump off the shield anyway, I guess.
He could still Lightning Bolt. That's still an option.
What's his next turn? He's not in a. He would really like to play the Azure Drake next turn, and he still could. What are you saving Hex for? Like Sylvanas, probably?
Yeah, Sylvanas. Cafoon, if you survive its onslaught.
And he's doing it this way.
Okay, so this is interesting because he's overloaded himself. Next turn, his play is probably going to be Feral Spirits, Totem, and Lightning Bolt something. Oh wow! So Ravaging Ghoul just clean up.
Punishing.
GreenSheep's turn was just so awkward. Then you look at SilverName stage, just like boop boop. I'm done.
Right. And now GreenSheep again has got another awkward turn. This Feral Spirit is going to overload him for another awkward turn if he goes with this, which means I think he'll Lightning Bolt as well and get all your overload. If we're going to have a bad overload turn, it might as well all happen at once.
Yeah. He can still Totem next turn, he can still Portal if he wants to. Lightning Storm as well will be also an option, so he gets overload himself again, but he'll be able to play the Azure Drake on 7. We do see Forsen just coming down, going to clean up one of the wolves. Going to hit some nice stuff here, going to get Doomcaller out on 7, which is pretty juicy.
Yeah, and he'll probably do it. The Doomcaller is there for the matchup against the N'Zoth Warriors and the Yogg Warriors, so that you save it to the very, very end and then get your your Cthulhu back. But in this matchup, I don't think you really care. You just want it as a huge body. So I think you're right. I think he'll drop it next turn.
And it's good hex bait, I guess. Like, you want your Sylvanas to live most of the time. You know, that's a premium minion. And then the Hex, but we see the Hex come out on Forsen, so this is now going to allow Dewcaller to, come down and be a tremendous threat. It's got so much health as well.
Yeah, it's just basically putting you onto 50 or 43 health, because it's just 9 that has to be done.
This is that was a great line for SilverName there, following the Hex. Like, Forsen had done its job. It reduced its hand size. It took care of one of Shaman's better removal cards. Well, not even removal, kind of soft removal. And now the 7/9 just sits there, just like, come on then, throw some damage at me. I'm just going to clean up everything that you put down for the next 2-3 turns.
Yeah, and it's going to be a bit slow and cumbersome. Sometimes the Shaman will just be able to ignore it, but with only 2 minions on the board, the Shaman can't ignore. Wait, he's going to have to ignore it, but GreenSheep has to factor it into his plans really heavily. And yeah, that's forced the early Thunder Bluff, which will force the early Brawl, except there is no Brawl.
He does have a shield block and a shield slam, so... Oh, he even just has the shield bearer shield slam.
And the Brawl!
And the Brawl.
Commentator, and the Brawl. Which he won't use because his 7/9 is too powerful right now.
So what do you think now? Shield
like your
bearer,
play.
armor up, shield slam?
I think I like the shield block. And shield bearer is really good though. But shield block, if you save the shield bearer till you get Bran, it's so game changing. It's game changing anyway, but to save it with Bran and get 20 armor in one turn is even more ridiculous. So Cthulhu players tend to be a bit greedy with their Bran.
And I guess he doesn't need to overextend too much at this point. I mean, the 7/9, which is now just 7/7, just a Doctor Boom, is going to be able to carry him on board for the next few turns at least, unless GreenSheep pumps loads of cards into it, and then you're just like, well, I don't care. He's kind of done his job. He's forced you to use a lot of resources on him.
So
so
how about
SilverName's
Bloodmage?
in a good spot, man.
But Blood Mage Theranos to make the spell damage up to 2. Then you can Maelstrom Portal. It kills off the Acolyte and puts the Caller down to 7/4. It's the same play. Just going to do it with the Drake, and then he can run the 2 totems in.
Yeah, this is nice from GreenSheep.
Oh, and he's actually not even going to bother. He's going to go face because now that 7/4 is still challenged. That's fine. GreenSheep does not miss opportunities to hit you in the face when they are there, and that's worked fine. That's going 4 extra damage to what I would have done.
Yeah, that was great from GreenSheep. He could have traded off there with his totems, but now he's kept his totems around for an extra turn. So if he picks up the other Valiant, he gets to clean up Justica with just, say, the healing totem, and he gets to develop the board even further.
There's the second Valiant, and when that's gone, things start getting difficult for the Shaman. They then have to play to their 1 Bloodlust, if they have it, which we haven't seen in their hand yet, I don't believe.
Just go and face.
Yeah, fielding up this board. Possibly sensing that there isn't a Brawl in the hand because of how SilverName played earlier when he didn't have it. But this looks like a Brawl board. Can SilverName push it even longer? You do have to push it as long as you dare. But no, this is ideal.
Especially with double Brawl in hand. I think it works out just fine. If the Valiant lives, you're going to be pretty miserable.
Oh!
Oops.
Aquablad making people miserable since 2013. Calls it out. And yeah, that's the right result there for Na'Vi. It keeps them in with some chance of winning this game.
Does GreenSheep overextend any further? Get the other Brawl out? This is fine though. You don't need to go any further than this, I think. That makes the second Brawl just kind of miserable again. Oh, that's the brand we were talking about.
Yeah. So Bloodlust would be 9, plus the damage we can see on the board, plus 4 more for the totems. This is actually a lot being threatened. That's a certified number, right? A lot. I think it's 23 being threatened right now.
If you're afraid of that damage, you could just brand Shield Bearer now.
That's what I'm wondering, yeah.
Sylvanas, though, works into the Brawl next turn. A little bit of patience on SilverName's part, he may allow him to just Brawl this board next turn. especially if he overextends and then he gets to steal whatever's left.
There's the answer to the question. Do you do it now?
Ooh.
If you Bloodlust now, I've counted correctly, it's 34. So it's 9. We can see 10 on the board. That's 19. And then the buff would be 4. So yeah, 24 damage to the face right now if he wants it. But it does get rid of the Bloodlust and the Thunderbluff threats in one go if they're removed.
It's a tough one.
I think this is the right play because if you Bloodlust and your opponent does Brawl, then they have no worries for the rest of the game. You've got your 2 Thunderbluffs and the Bloodlust, like your three things that say my totems are better than you. When they're all gone, you can just let the totems live.
Do you Brawl this? It's so tough. You kind of have to, right? Can you tank? Can you heal up with the Brand Shield Bearer? If Bloodlust is too much of a threat, then right?
I'm wondering if you can Revenge, Execute. I don't think there's anything better than Brawl, but there's so many options. He's got to take his time. I think that having the 7/4 totem there just means that this Thunderbluff's out of control now.
And you do have the opportunity to steal the 7/4 yourself, which would be pretty decent. The Valiant has nice health stats, so that's not bad too.
So what's to do all these things?
Ooh, he's looking at that brand.
Here we go. He's got to do something.
Yeah, he's left it way too long. I guess this is what he wanted. Gonna go for the Shield Slam instead. So builds up 20 health, removes the Valiant, which is the major threat on board right now,
and finds a way to keep the Brawl.
Yeah, so he has another board reset when he needs it.
And this game is all about the time for the Shaman. The Warrior, I mean, we call it fatigue, that's what it is. But if you think about it in terms of time, if the Warrior can just not die until the Shaman gets to the end of their deck, they can't build their board particularly quickly. Things from below do help that, but pressing that hero power button takes a turn, takes another turn, etc. And if you're in fatigue, you're taking damage every turn you press that hero power. So keeping your Brawl means that GreenSheep has to press that button 1 or 2 times more than he'd like, which means that the next time he sets up his Brawl, it takes a long time, or next time he sets up his totem board.
And now he has to answer this board, making it... Sylvanas just makes it really awkward because it's going to steal something. So you either like trade off your whole board and deal with her. But most of the time you don't want to do that. You just want to wipe the board and continue the pressure. And Sylvanas really locks that down. And it's also the threat of Bran as well. I mean, yeah, we're going to see we see these two guys go in.
Yeah.
Lightning Storm on its own just to try and take out Sylvanas. Doesn't do it.
What was the totem that attacked there?
The Spell Power Totem.
Yeah.
Because if he cleared with Spell Power Totem, Sylvanas would have stolen the Spell Power Totem.
So he had to do it in that order, and then take the chance to not lose his Spell Power Totem, which was quite beefy at 4/2. That was horrible. It's like, you've got to do these in the wrong, inverted commas, order. Do it right. Oh, that's grim.
And now SilverName's just got so much health. He has a really strong board. We're going to see the Horse Rider go in Sylvanas, so he is going to take something. Nothing great, but Sylvanas did its job in just making GreenSheep's life awkward. That was her main role.
Yes, and now GreenSheep is setting up his next board, and that's just going to get brawled away. At least. I mean, it may even be dealt with in other ways, but it's going to at least be brawled away, and possibly even worse.
Well, you can slam first to find out. Draws anything else that could help. Execute, that's not bad as well. You've seen 2 Valiants go, so, 2 of those premium threats have been answered.
Yeah, this Twin Emperors is going to be so hard to deal with next turn.
I don't think GreenSheep will ever build up enough of a board now to be able to take this health total down.
Now, this is where Cthulhu shines when the normal control warrior is in this spot. He's kind of running out of gas by now. But Cthulhu's got Twin Emperors, it's had this crazy Shield Bearer turn. It may have another Shield Bearer, it most likely has another Shield Bearer.
So GreenSheep can clear it, the 6th one if he wants. Could just go for the 2-1 to start things off, play it slower. But the Manatide Totem isn't safe to drop. He could just drop it for a card, force Shield Bearer to go into it.
Will he? I'm interested. I want to know what happens here. And I want to know if he kills this or if he kills the 3-3. Oh, he kills it, okay. I've had discussions that involve leaving that alive and just saying to your opponent, I know I can control you because I've got the brawl in my hands, and just speeding up their clock. But yeah, he chose to take it down. That makes a lot of sense, obviously.
Well, maybe no. Well, if he felt comfortable enough, maybe SilverName doesn't. That is quite a good little strategy. Let them just keep drawing and drawing and drawing. They'll develop because they're so far behind. You brawl. And then you have Cavoon to clean up their last kind of skirmish that they have before fatigue.
Maybe he feels he just didn't need to take that risk.
Possibly, like, he's just so far ahead. I mean, he can just clear it, play the twins. GreenSheep still has a lot to punch through before he starts making any progress on that health stat. And it's just absurdly large right now. And as long as SilverName just kills whatever threats he drops, he's going to be in a fine spot. And what does GreenSheep realistically have left? Drakes and a bunch of totems, maybe? Harrison?
What might he have left? Used pretty much all the bigs of maybe there's an Alec here, but there's no rock bite, so that makes no real sense. A couple of fire elementals? I mean, I don't think there is, but I'm just going through the things that, you know, that have a chance. Fire elemental's a thing that can swing a game around. Maybe a second Azure Drake, but I don't think we've seen both yet.
But Azure Drake's not really the swing card, right?
No, it's
the draw into a swing card.
Lightning Storm is a potential swing card now if he rolls on both of these guys.
Oh, that one. That is annoying for GreenSheep. Because he knows his totem column's going to meet its end, so he's just going to clean it up now. Dead, and we just have 2 totems remaining. Ravaging Ghoul pickup. Not brilliant, but he can save that for when the 1/1 totem comes down, and then he can just clean that up.
SilverName again showing that with Warrior, a lot of the time the best thing to do is to do nothing at all. Your board doesn't scare me. I'm on 69 health. What are you going to do about it?
I mean, even with the Flame Tongue totem now, the max he can do per turn is 1 damage.
Right, so 69 turns later. And I don't think he even plays the War Axe here. Just don't give your opponent any opportunity to do anything. Okay.
I don't know about that.
It's fine. I don't think he minds a Harris in particular. I just didn't want the War Axe to die. It's the same deal as before. It's just getting closer to the end. And double Spirit Claws, 2 of the remaining cards. That's definitely way too late for those. That's 9 damage each. Is 18. Hardly touches anything.
Well, he's going to get them swinging to try and get back into this game.
So Bloodlust is 21 here. I don't even think you bother. I think you just wait one more turn.
You just revenge Ravaging Ghoul? Because you're never going to get your... You're assuming you're never going to lose that armor, right?
Yeah, so yeah, I like that. Just use it as another brawl. Make your opponent have to do it all again.
Unless he wants to brawl now, take care of Harrison, and then he gets revenge Ravaging Ghoul on a clean totem board then.
He might. I've got a feeling he won't. I've got a feeling he'll either revenge Ghoul or do nothing. Because doing nothing is one of his great strengths right now, and it's working out really well for him. And the brawl can be saved for, you know, surprises and emergencies you're not really expecting, but it is a collectible card game, or, you know, things do happen sometimes where the players do something very odd.
Oh, it rolls a spell power as well, so the Spirit Claws can take out the Ravaging Ghoul if he chooses. That's pretty miserable for SilverName, because he was kind of hoping those Spirit Claws would be deactive, and then Ravaging Ghoul just takes care of Harrison next turn.
Yeah. I don't think he's bothered. I think the GreenSheep's down to 1 card in library. So I don't think SilverName particularly cares right now. He can still lose this, by the way. I'm being slightly flippant because I'm expecting SilverName to play absolutely perfectly, and he'll win if he does. But yeah, there are bits and pieces that can go wrong here. We've still not seen every single card. GreenSheep might have a bomb left. Fire Alley will at least add some beef to the finish, but for now I think this is all but over. Maybe this is forced down a Cthulhu and it will get hexed. It has used his Doomcaller.
Does he have one shield bearer left, I believe?
He's either got, yeah, if he's playing 2, he'll have 1 left. He's used 1 so far. Some people only play 1, but I don't see why. I think there should be 2.
The see Brawl come down now because it leaves one card up, so if he needs to clear a board next turn, Cthulhu should be able to handle, you know, maybe 2 or 3 minions easier than, say, 4 to 5.
Yeah, and... Okay, so GreenSheep on 27, so he has 7 turns of fatigue if he never takes any damage. That's his absolute clock, is 7 turns, but, you know, Cthulhu is going to do some damage to his face there. So... that would reduce the clock if played now. 5, 11 would go face, which would be 16. That would put a 5-turn clock. Oh, even better. Buff your Cthulhu, play the Cthulhu's chosen now. Okay.
I guess he just wants that fatigue to go a little bit faster. Forces out the Hex as well, but Cthulhu's done its job. You know, instant gratification there, 1 played, you know, gets a 16 damage, and we just see the concede from GreenSheep and SilverName's in 2-0, very similar spot was in a game.
Basically.
It's just because of its pace, right? It has like the early game threats that are a bit like the durability of Chosen is a little frustrating. Were we expecting fatigue here?
No, it can happen, and it might happen, but it's a little bit strange. If it is N'Zoth, both players know that Cthulhu's slightly favoured, and the way to stop it is for the N'Zoth, especially if it plays Elise, which it may not, but it's for the deck to try and find the Elise and race the Cthulhu, which means that both players actually draw kind of quicker than you'd expect sometimes. Not always. Sometimes they do this standoff thing that Warriors do. But I have seen games go crazy where both players just try and draw their stuff before the other one. Which obviously is kind of unusual.
Yeah, you know, Control Warrior mirrors, I know these are 2 different types of Control Warriors, but most Control Warrior mirrors we experienced in the past is the players are trying not to draw cards as much as possible. They'll do the early to mid game of just removing what's ever played, then we'll get into the late game, they armor up till fatigue, and just play cards when they really have to because they're going to burn a card, and then that's when the real Control Warrior match starts.
Yeah, what changes in this matchup is the Doomcaller. So, if SilverName can play a Cthulhu, and maybe it's reduced with a Thaurissan, although I don't think we saw a Thaurissan, did we? Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
So, you are able to play your Cthulhu and shield slam it yourself, which sounds ridiculous. But then later on, you play Bran and Doomcaller, and you get back 2 Cthulhus into your deck. And because that is something that might happen on the last cards of the game, the N'Zoth Warrior automatically feels obliged to race a little bit. Because the inevitability is that the Cthulhu will get cast like 3 times.
Yeah, and you're going to be able to brawl the N'Zoth turn anyway.
Right.
So you're probably going to keep a hold of your big removal spells for that N'Zoth turn, and then they have to deal with the second Cthulhu that comes down, and then obviously there's a third one to follow up.
Right,
that combo. And it's just like, what do you do at that point? You're taking damage from the Cthulhu, and you're dealing with a giant body as well.
And we're seeing GreenSheep's understanding of this already. In no real normal warrior versus warrior world do you just put an an Acolyte of Pain on the board. It gets slammed and whirlwinded, and you're forced to draw cards, and then you lose in fatigue. But what he's done is he's managed to get the win condition for the N'Zoth in this match, or one of them, is to just get Elise on the go, and there he's drawn into his Elise. So he will be able to start drawing forward that monkey sooner rather than later. And then Cthulhu does not deal with 23 legendaries very well.
Unless they're all really bad legendaries.
Unless they're my legendaries, yes.
Most of the time, you're probably able to play something they can't deal with. A new Barak is a fantastic card to get in this mirror, I find, because it's just so annoying. You just kill it and it comes back, and it works out pretty nicely. We see GreenSheep actually could just go for Harrison there. So again, accelerating his deck, drawing cards, but also removing one of those weapons.
Yeah, and it's just such an alien situation to be in with warrior versus warrior now. That there's often a fast warrior and a slow warrior, even though they're both actually torturously slow. And the fast one, yeah, the slow one does have to just draw cards and take its chance.
Just a weapons response here. Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking for a slot to get that at least, but again, you can't just go completely crazy and give up the whole game because you have to actually still play sensible HearthStone as well. And there's still every chance you can get close to fatigue, and you want to at least make your opponent have the worry of that, so he can't just do silly things like win. You have to force them to get to the end game and do all the technical stuff. You might be able to sort of, shield slam your own Sylvanas if you can build up enough armor, for instance, to steal a Cthulhu, and then they can't get it back with a Doomcaller.
Yeah, that's one of the big answers to this kind of matchup. When Cthulhu Warrior was popular, that was a great way of just locking out the Doomcaller plays, just stealing Cthulhu, and Priest can entomb it as well when Priest was still playable. Wow, I say it in the loosest of terms. And, yeah, so that's kind of what you want to do. Negate the player from having that card to kind of get it back from their graveyard. Very much like when you play against a Murloc Paladin. Like if you can steal a Murloc, it's really annoying for them sometimes. Yeah,
with an Entomb especially, something like that as well. And the thing that's changed a little bit with the Cthulhu matchup is as it goes longer now. So say we get to they've nearly drawn their decks. Cthulhu can shield slam himself if you haven't taken care of your opponent's armor, so both sides still want that armor. Or you can shield slam your Sylvanas. Now the problem with that is your opponent can then shield slam their Sylvanas and steal it back if they're playing Sylvanas, which they use. And so sometimes now you shield slam your own Sylvanas and you want enough armor to shield slam the Cthulhu you steal. It just gets really silly sometimes now.
Layers upon layers of killing your own stuff.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Why not just kill your own stuff, or kill your own stuff to steal something and then kill that as well? That doesn't seem profitable, but it actually can be. Again, depending how late in the game you are. Most of these scenarios don't happen because somebody forces the issue before that.
We do see Elise finally kind of making its way down, not mana efficiently, but she's on the board just as a body, but she also puts that map in for whenever GreenSheep wants to pull the trigger on that monkey. He's probably going to get an Azoth board down first, probably just to get that brawl out of hand, and then we'll probably see the monkey come into play. Is that how they usually go about it? Or do they just ignore the whole Azoth combo?
I'm not actually so sure with the exact Azoth list where... When I've played Control Warrior, it's all about the Elise. But with the N'Zoth, I guess you try and get the N'Zoth stuff down first to burn even more resources, and then Monkey. That's my instinct on the matter. Because then your monkeys... you get rid of all your spells is the downside of playing the Monkey, obviously. So you want the board to you want your opponent to be as low on stuff as possible. So I think you would N'Zoth first most of the time.
Okay. That seems pretty reasonable.
But again, it's probably situated. As he's playing Sylvanas, then I should think that N'Zoth's far more important.
This is dangerous for GreenSheep because now he's committing a card that stops him from getting double, triple Cthulhu.
Right, he's all in on the playing really aggressively planned. Like next turn, he can just N'Zoth and get this back. He may not even go particularly greedy with N'Zoth. Just to tidy up the discussion we just had, it may be just that. Again, I'm no expert on this particular matchup. It may just be that if you N'Zoth back 1 or 2 minions and just lower those resources, it sets you up nicely for when you... Makes your monkey more easy to decide. Cast. My words out now.
Oh,
okay.
Look at that. Good old Kane off the top there.
And now we can see the game plan.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great draw for GreenSheep. It just allows him to... resurrect even just these two is enough now to make N'Zoth really powerful because Kane has that durability. He's going to stick. Bane's going to pop up after the brawl, which is really nice.
And this is one of the downsides of playing the Bran combos is you do find yourself waiting for that Emperor. Like half the time it's in the bottom half of your deck. That's how halves work. And when it's in the bottom half of your deck, you are sitting here waiting, not wanting to play your cards.
Gonna give Bane up here, I guess. No, just gonna lose all of Kane. and Bane, probably just to take out Sylvanas slowly.
Yeah, setting up this N'Zoth nicely, keeping his hand size large. And now...
Is he thinking about I mean, Cthulhu's 12-12 now.
Sylvanas has gone from the opposing side. I mean, he's going to get a N'Zoth. He has got the Shield Slam in hand, so next turn, if something came about like the N'Zoth, he can just Shield Slam his own Cthulhu next turn. But he waits. He's waited really well in this matchup so far in this whole series.
Yeah, just pushing damage instead. It's just chipping away at that armor with that 5 damage, making GreenSheep answer Sylvanas, not just giving Sylvanas up. So he's gonna do that 5 damage. They're gonna trade off now, and we're gonna see N'Zoth come down.
Yeah, and this makes sense to me. You don't want it really cluttering up the rest of the game. Let's get on with it and see if we can win with it at this push, because it's a pretty powerful looking board.
I mean, Kayn alone is just an absolute nuisance for SilverName. You can go for the Brawl now, and if Sylvanas lives, you know, he still has that problem, which he can armor up and shield slam. But Bane will still remain after it, and even if Kayn survives, he still has 2 pieces of that 4/5 to go through as well. So I think that this is a very strong N'Zoth play, but it's not. I don't think it's a game-winning play. It's just kind of a nuisance play more than anything.
And that's probably an unfortunate win on the Brawl there. He probably wants to get the board spread a little bit. Hard to tell sometimes whether you want the Cairn to stay together or to get the 2 minions.
Well, here we go. Pressure from GreenSheep. He's being consistent with his game plan, which is to try and aggro the warrior as much as possible.
Yep.
His own control deck, which is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it really is funny. Again, it's just not a thing we're particularly used to seeing. And this is why, really, because no matter how hard you try, warriors seem to just find ways to cancel themselves out.
And let's be fair, like, no one likes Control Warrior mirrors. Probably apart from Control Warrior loyalists, because they probably feel like they can be the better player at the mirror. But from a spectator's perspective, like, Control Warrior mirrors generally are just sit around armoring up till fatigue, and we have to just wait until that point. But GreenSheep is doing the world a favor here. He's just like, I gotta give you guys a show. I'm just gonna smoke this guy.
Yeah,
how it goes.
He's been unfortunate. Like, if he picks up the monkey in the next turn or two, that smoking is going to set up for what looks like a huge random fest, but really, legendaries are just good now. A lot of the lesser legendaries have rotated out. When new legendaries are made, they tend to be really above the power curve because they're legendary, they can afford to be. And so Elise into Monkey is now really strong.
You know, Elise is... Well, League of Explorers is my favourite expansion of HearthStone, and Elise is one of the reasons why. It just really helped flesh out control decks with another win condition. And of course, you could say it's random, but you know, timing your releases, knowing what cards you're allowed to burn for legendaries takes a bit of practice. And I'm gonna be a bit sad when League of Explorers cycles out next year. It's by far the best expansion they've ever made.
It made a big impact. All 4 of the headline cards made an impact. I will not be sad to see the back of Reno Jackson. I don't mind admitting that. But Finley, Elise, and whatever the other one was that was really impactful, I just can't remember for the life of me right now. Who was the other character? Bail me out.
Bran,
well done. He's in the hand right now. And Bran, all 3 of those, I think, have made Hearthstone a better place. And Reno was a card that was also printed.
Once upon a time.
And in fairness, I think Reno did a job for a while. At the time it was printed, I think it was needed. The game was in a state of everyone hitting you in the face, like, just relentlessly. It's just a shame that Reno now is so tortuously boring. But that's my opinion. A lot of people love Reno Jackson, so I'm probably upsetting those guys. What do we do with this Bran? He's holding on to it. And the Emperor's been used, so there's no way that he can brand Cthulhu.
Did he just Cthulhu this board? Is it a 14? I think it's a 14-14 now, or maybe a 12-12.
And an option.
It gets removed, then you brand Doomcaller and get 2 of them back.
definitely an option that he's looking to set up, I should think.
Oh, he's going to put a brawl. Interesting.
This sets up the Cthulhu a bit better. It feels like this means that the Cthulhu will clear the board when it comes down and have a chance of living. Because it's all very nice getting 2 of them back, but you might as well have a 14-14.
Just stare down your opponent.
Yeah, just have it on the board and then get it back if it dies. Excuse me. And he's getting to the point where we've been talking about GreenSheep's aggressive strategy, but all the aggression he's put on, he's been able to sneak up to 62 health in the meantime as well.
So the fatigue game, so far GreenSheep is a little better on health, but cards, we're probably on a different story with deck sizes, I can imagine, because we've seen GreenSheep aggressively draw cards, where we haven't seen SilverName really do that.
Right, but I think he has actually been drawing them as well. Because GreenSheep draws them aggressively, it gives SilverName the ability to draw his aggressively as well. I wouldn't be surprised if GreenSheep's only drawn 1 or 2 more. Like that, there was a sneaky slam just cast at the start of this turn, for instance. SilverName's not been scared to draw, but like you say, GreenSheep was like harrisoning and stuff right at the start, so...
Throwing acolytes onto the board, and which is a sin in Control Warrior Mirrors, and he doesn't use those shield blocks though, so he is a little aware of fatigue. I guess the hyper aggression has slowed down enough now that he's thinking, right, well, I have a lease coming up. Shield blocks only put me into fatigue, so I'm gonna use these to fuel a lease at this point.
And I'm almost certain, if you're watching it's my favourite thing to watch the animation on the right when we have no deck info. I'm almost certain that both players have 6 cards left. The GreenSheep now has 5. We went to the 6 card. I don't know what the word is. The 6 card image of your library, because it's not an exact image of cards. It cuts from 12 to 6. It suddenly cuts down, and they both cut down last turn. So yeah, SilverName has actually kept up on card draw, but 1.
It's quite a skill there, dude. Being able to look at the card images and have a good idea of how many cards.
6 is a weird one. Now you've seen it once, you'll see it. This is anywhere from 2 to 6 that you see now, and 7 to 12 is an entirely different picture.
That's some next level casting, dude. I have to admit.
Cheers, man. I work hard at this rubbish.
So, do you just remove these guys with maybe a bash? You got the axe. You could put your board into it. Good. Well, yeah, he's gonna go for a brawl. I guess brawl's pretty decent because you guarantee the slime, and then you still have flash weapon to finish up the last twin.
Yeah, this is really weird, right? Because GreenSheep looks like he's miles ahead, but 3 Cthulhu's changes that really, really quickly. And GreenSheep doesn't even have an answer to Cthulhu in his hand right now.
And you can see here that SilverName is not willing to play Cthulhu yet. He wants GreenSheep to use more stuff on these little Cthulhu minions, and when Cthulhu is big enough, he will drop him down, he'll deal the damage, it'll get removed, he'll not feel that bothered, he'll resurrect 2 of them, and then they will be enormous, which will be so difficult for him to deal with.
And by waiting longer, of course, when you resurrect them, you're more likely to get them straight away as well. And GreenSheep has just drawn into his Execute, though. He'll be relieved at that. The 2 mana card on the right-hand side. Those who don't realise, it's now 2 mana. SilverName's last chance to use his brand without the Doomcaller completely sets out his stall there. We knew it anyway, but just in case there's any doubt at all, he is going to get back 2 Cthulhu's at some point.
What's next for GreenSheep?
We've missed a really key point here, though. There's a Tink Master.
There is a Tink Master, actually.
Which is for this, and I should have mentioned it when it was drawn. I've just been blanking it all game as a blanked out grey card. And that's what the next level for this is. That's why he was happy to burn up his Steel Slams and his Sylvanus earlier. I'm really sorry that we missed that, but there we go, yeah. That Tink Master makes a big difference to everything.
But SilverName can still play around it, right? Because he can still Cthulhu, Shield Slam his Cthulhu.
As long as he can keep things under control, because Cthulhu is now too big to be Shield Slammed at this moment. Yeah, and he's taking more damage, so he's got to get his armor out of range.
Yeah, how's he going to do that? That's a bit of a problem for him right now. He could shield block to dig.
The trouble then is he may never, like, if this Grom hits for 10, he may never get that armor ever again. I think he has to sort of save the shield block until such a time that he can shield block and armor up with no danger of losing much armor, which means he's got to deal with his Grom sooner rather than later.
He could just take out the Ravaging Ghoul, armor up and pass, and then force Grom into the Shield Bearer. Are these Cthulhu lists running executes too? I'd imagine so.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
And we haven't seen any, I don't believe. So yeah, I like this because if you're that deep into your deck now, I can't recall any executes being used just yet. This actually worked out really nicely for GreenSheep because the executes keeps his Grom intact. It's going to demand a revenge execute if he wants to get rid of it. Speak of the devil.
There we go. Good call, Nick. And now the way is cleared for
armoring up.
Yeah, armoring up. As long as he can get enough armor before he gets into fatigue. So it may be a very precise juggling act. It may be that next turn he has to shield block, armor up, and then the turn after he will have to slam his own Cthulhu. Wow. And he's played around this Tinkmaster beautifully. Again, sorry that we missed that, but that's what he's been doing for those turns where we weren't sure why he didn't drop it.
Tinkmaster would just destroy his entire game plan. At 16-16, so he's very close to getting this triple Cthulhu.
But I believe he only has 2 cards left. We find out for sure next turn.
I'm almost out of cards.
Yeah.
And it's a shield block. Very useful, unfortunately. So armor up is going to be fine. He can get hit for 1 next turn. And there's a monkey, so gonna wait for SilverName to pull the trigger first because he is ahead on the armor at the moment and doesn't even need to go for Cthulhu yet. He is just gonna get the Justica down and start tanking up.
Yeah, and so sad for him, by the way. His Justica is the bottom card. He's gonna be probably okay. He's thrown out the well played. 55 points of damage. That will kill most things.
Yeah.
You've done it at face.
Overkill.
Wow. Tell which community you came from. Very, very
back in
games.
The day.
Yeah.
When FPSs were all about just murdering people relentlessly.
So, Steel Slam has been navigated to his own Cthulhu. One of these Cthulhu's is going to get Tinkmaster, even so. It's not a small thing. Both Cthulhu's are going to be able to do 18, but one of them is just going to get dealt with.
Well, I was just thinking then, do you even need to keep Tinkmaster now? Tinkmaster was to counter the first Cthulhu. I think it just gets so much weaker if you don't hit the first Cthulhu, because you can Tinkmaster it and kind of shrink it down, but it would just mean that this turn, GreenSheep does nothing.
Yeah, Sheep agrees with you. Okay, here comes the stuff. He is going to take quite a bit of damage setting this up. GreenSheep's going to hit for 11 and get a second proc on that Emperor. So all these 6 casting cost things will go down to 5. Curator, Prophet Velen, Chill More. I don't think you want to play Acid More much when your opponent's playing Cthulhu's.
Double Gormok for burst.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. Bad thing is for GreenSheep, I guess, is now he has a 7/9 to answer. He also has to kill Bran, because if he leaves Bran up, Cthulhu is going to do the double stuff, which he doesn't want. And yeah, it just limits him from being aggressive this turn. He just needs to start cleaning up the board.
Yeah, this is crazy. The guy on 68 is a long way behind the guy on 43.
Not all want
Velen, just a 7/7 body.
Yeah, it eats up 7 of this Cthulhu damage as well, so there's every chance actually that one of these guys will survive now. It's not favourite, but there's a decent chance, and that will have to get killed by the 7/9. No, I think this is over. I think SilverName's got this.
I can't see GreenSheep coming back. He's not going to be able to deal with one 20/20 Cthulhu. Let's talk about the second one that's coming next turn and dealing 20 damage.
So he's not attacking first here. You want to minimise the number of shots that go to face. So by not attacking first, there's 3 targets rather than 2 for Cthulhu. So less things go face. And he was unfortunate. He only killed 1 minion. A whole lot of stuff went face. And I don't think it's going to matter, but now he can play the Acid Maw and kill the Cthulhu. Problem with that is he can't kill the second one if he does it that way.
So Acid Maw, kill the Cthulhu. Acid Maw's going to live, which makes him playing anything else really awkward.
Really awkward, right? So he's now trying to find a way where he can kill the second one with the Acid Maw. Because he has perfect information at this point. He knows that he has to deal one more Cthulhu after this. And he's got these Gormox that he's trying... I think he's trying to find a way where he can kill something with his Gormox and then Acid Maw the next one if something lives. And he's going to set up another big board.
Yeah, just bulk up a little bit, just tank these Cthulhus for now. But second Cthulhu's going to come down and just probably wipe it.
If he had a dragon in his hand and he could have played Acid Maw and Chill Maw at the same time there.
Alright, test for the dragon first. Yeah, that would have been sweet.
Because then he could have blown up the Cthulhus, I think, depending on how the timing works on that.
Oh, I like this from SilverName, actually. He doesn't even feel he needs it right now. He's going to wait until GreenSheep uses some more cards. I mean, at this point, there's no evidence to suggest that GreenSheep can deal with a 2014 on board.
Yeah. But you never know. There might be a Shift to Zeros in there that turns... He knows there's no dragon at the moment, but there might be Shift to Zeros, go to Death Ring, all the little tiny things that go through your mind when your opponent has random legendaries. So, no reason not to last as long as possible, as long as you're not going to die from it. Can he take another turn? I think he can. Two Gormox isn't enough. He knows it's not cheap. He knows it's not a small minion because it would have gone down with the Gormox for damage. So he knows it's something big and scary. It's not, as it happens.
Turns out to be something quite miserable.
And the GreenSheep's going to get the sad news that he has definitely lost this game. Yeah.
So there we have it. GreenSheep getting 3-0'd by SilverName's Warrior. Inner was